welcome to Reel Doofs. I'm Drew.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Laura.
And this is our very, very famous and serious political podcast. No, sorry, this is our pop culture movie podcast that we've been doing for a long time. We must be, what is this going to be, Brian? Like episode
68.
And then with all the lunch table sessions, we're like,
oh, no, wait, I'm sorry. This will be episode 69. So we can have a special celebration for that.
I was like, didn't he literally just tell us before that it was 69 and then
oh,
a number with no other connotation whatsoever.
We're all children. It's fine.
Yeah. It's amazing.
I can't wait until episode 420.
Oh God, I know, right? That one we're gonna celebrate.
Yeah.
Along with our lunch table sessions, we're like practically like 140 episodes deep. It feels like, or maybe 120. But so this is our podcast. For those of you just joining us for the very first time, this is a podcast where Brian, Laura, myself, 1, 2, 3, all three of us have not seen something that is deemed an important or a pop culture crazed movie or fan favorites. Also, this year we're doing a lot of viewer, or I should say listener votings. So, some things that people just really love and admire, and we watch them. But before we watch the movie, we have to guess what we think the movie is about based on what we know from pop culture. Sometimes we literally know nothing about the movie. Other times we have pretty good guesses because it's infiltrated our media life some one way or another. So if this again is your first time joining us, welcome, and happy to have you along for the ride. But you are late. You should have been here earlier, and you should have subscribed and liked, and please do so. Brian, Laura, how you both doing today?
Good. I'm ready to watch a movie. I'm excited.
I have exciting news. I won.
Oh my God.
Dave Matthews Band tickets
won them
from a radio.
Wow.
Like back in the 90s.
What's a radio?
Yeah.
You won tickets to an upcoming Dave Matthews concert in the 90s? It's a time traveling.
Is this at Mohegan?
Yeah, it's at Mohegan. And I was going to buy tickets, but they were expensive for what I thought Dave Matthews should be charging. So I was like, you know what? I've seen him enough. I can pass. And then I happened to be randomly driving and heard the code word of the day that you go enter online, and I got an email that I won.
So wait, you listen to the radio?
So the funny thing is, I never do when I'm driving. I always have a podcast going, and I very, very rarely have the radio going. And I don't really know what made me turn it on, but it just was meant to be.
Yeah, it was meant to be. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, congrats. When is it?
Thanks. November.
In November. Fantastic.
Yeah, so that was exciting.
That is wild. Jesus.
I know. Gotta listen to the radio more, because no one's probably who's entering these contests.
I know. And then what's the other thing? You said you got a code word and you entered it online. Back in my day, you had to make a phone call to get it.
Well, that's how my friend won pink tickets earlier in the summer. She called in and won on the radio. So it can be done if you listen.
Well,
it's got to be statistically more likely to win now, because
I'm sure. I used to call all the time when I was younger, in high school. Yeah. I would be calling all the time.
Call, hang up, call, hang up, call, hang up, call, hang up, call, hang up.
Yep.
And you're like, it's ringing. And then it went back to busy and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then you have to call, hang up.
Or they answer, you're like, you're caller number 8, and they hang up. And yes.
Yep. Fuck.
Yeah.
Man, awesome. Well, congrats. I'm super excited for you. That's going to be great.
It was exciting. I hope you win your Taylor Swift tickets to
thanks.
Cinemark.
Yeah, Cinemark. Yeah,
Cinemax is not.
Cinemax is not. It's not bad. It's not anything weird.
Okay.
You seem to be.
I was concerned for a second.
No, you're thinking of Cinemax after 10 p.m. used to be called Skinamax.
That's what I was thinking of. Yes.
Yeah, and that was when they just played all the softcore weird stuff. You know. So
Brian looks intrigued.
What a terrible name for what that. It just sounds bad.
I don't think it was officially their
was
name, was it? It was like people just
maybe
kind
it
of
was
made it up.
Cinemax After Dark, but like people started calling it Skinemax.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, back in the 90s, like that when someone was like, we're gonna have sleepover and we're gonna try to tune the TV in to Skinemax, you were like, we're about to party.
Yeah.
As like a 13-year-old, you're like, this is going down. Does anybody have any of the grape juice? Like, it's crazy times.
That's not where you're going to be winning your Taylor Swift movie tickets.
No,
from.
That's not where I'm getting that's not my Taylor Swift place. No, I entered a contest for a private party for a movie theater for the concert, and
a private party.
Yeah, exactly. A Skinemax.
I don't know if I want to go anymore.
Yeah. Come on, Laura, get your 6 friends over here.
I forgot to tell you guys I went to a concert last week.
You did?
Before? Yeah.
It's Skinemax. No.
One of my friends was trying to like clear his schedule because he signed up for way too many concerts and was like, hey, can I just like sell you these tickets? And it was for the 20th anniversary of the Transatlanticism record by Death Cab for Cutie. I don't know if you
okay.
Listen to Death Cab.
Yeah.
I felt real old for being like, shit, this album's 20 years old.
Yeah.
And the Postal Service, who does the song.
I like them. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. They they actually played in New Haven, so we went down and went to IKEA to pregame, and then
nice.
Nothing screams. I'm 30. Like
yeah.
I thought you were just gonna say
Swedish
nothing
meatballs
screams New Haven, but yeah.
Well, both, yeah. Pre-gaming in IKEA,
and then went and listened to sad, depressing music for an hour and a half. But it was really good.
Awesome,
it was really enjoyable. They put on.
I feel like I need
show.
to meet this friend that has too many concerts to go to. We would be friends.
It's our friend Chris. So you can chat with Chris.
So you can meet him and
at work.
Him, and be like, pardon me, please add me to your will call list.
Yeah.
When you are doing that.
Good to know.
That's so funny. You went down to like New Haven. I'm like, what? Where in New Haven?
The Toad's place.
Oh, is it Toad's?
Oh, it was at it was actually on Yale
at
campus.
IKEA.
Oh, it was in the warehouse.
In the IKEA.
That'd be cool as hell. You just go sit on like an IKEA couch and watch.
You have to build
on
it first, though.
Yeah. You have to build the stage.
It's very modular.
It was on Yale campus, which sucked because there was a soccer game too. So they have the bowl, which is their big sports stadium, and then they have a music bowl. And we had to walk past the soccer stadium to get to it. We parked in like a field somewhere. And so it was just like one road to leave because you're parking.
Sure.
Everyone was parking on the streets near like campus housing and everything. So like, Yale sucks. It was shitty. to leave.
Yeah.
It took us like probably an hour to like leave the campus.
Oh, that always sucks.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I saw the final show in the New Haven Coliseum back in like the early 2000s before they shut that place down and knocked it down. That was
built
Tool.
in IKEA.
Tool. Nice.
Yes, it was a good show. It was a pretty wild
Very
show,
cool.
honestly. It was pretty cool. Anyway,
sound old. Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
I know.
move
right?
on.
Yeah, right. I saw the first time that Steely Dan. No, I'm kidding. Who? But anyway, today though, we do sound old, right? Because we're talking about all these things that we enjoyed in school, and today's movie.
Look at that transition.
I know, part of our September back to school month. So, our first movie that we watched was more of a comedy, and so we had our first 4 votes, and there was more classically comedic movies. Our second grouping of movies were more dramatic films, and our fans voted. I was very surprised, honestly. I mean, I wasn't surprised, but I was happy with the decision, but I really thought we were going to get a push for the our other more classic film. I thought American Graffiti was going to swoop in and take it. I mean,
I've been dying to watch that too.
Yes,
We
right.
should just fit that in at some point. I also voted for a Bridge to Terabithia.
Yeah. After I looked at the list again, I was like, wait, how did this movie get in here again? It's like doesn't have a school setting at all. It's in the fucking woods.
I've never seen it.
Movie.
And I wondered the same thing as I was posting it. I'm like, isn't this like a fantasy, like weird movie? Not weird, but
I'm
like
sure the kids went to school at some point.
They do at one point. They go.
How
to
did
school.
it get?
Brian put it in there. Brian put
well,
it in there.
you know what? In all fairness, Drew put Carrie in there, which is a horror movie, so you would kind of like lucked out.
Fair again, right? But also a lot of that set takes place in school.
That is,
or a big
at
set
least
piece.
in a high school, and has a
Yes.
lot to do with the high school.
Right.
Whereas,
But-
Bridget, I was very confused. I'm like, maybe Bridget Terabithia is not what I think it's about
No,
at all.
it's-
But
it's-
They all have to go to
Exactly.
engineering school to learn how to build the bridge to
Yes,
Terabithia.
that's what Brian thinks. But yeah, so the movie that won though by a landslide was Dead Poet Society, and I'm very excited to watch this because I have seen it, but like 30 years ago. I don't remember much. I only remember I was talking to Brian about this earlier. I only remember one specific detail that I'm not even gonna share because I want it. I want to be surprised when it happens too. I want Laura to be as surprised.
yeah, I've never seen it.
Not surprised, but just like I don't want it to break or you be expecting something, you know. But I thought I was the person leading this who had seen the movie. So I panicked last night at 11 p.m. and said, "Oh shit, I need to do some research for this. I need to plot this thing out." So I did for like an hour and 20 minutes. I went through my notes. I did the research. I did what I had to do. And then this morning, Laura was like, "Hey, Drew, put your fucking availability down in here so we know when we can record. I want to record scary things. I need to know when." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And the first thing that popped up was on our document was the movie, and I just noticed it said Drew seen it, no. Laura, no. Brian, yes. And I was like, oh shit, is Brian leading this, and does he know he's gonna lead this?
Nope.
I knew that I was gonna lead this. I didn't remember that this was the movie that we were watching
because it won today, the day of recording.
Yeah, we're a little
behind.
Yeah.
So we all had to scramble, and I just shot my notes off to Brian.
I
and
appreciate
was like,
your
whatever,
notes. They were very helpful.
Whatever else you get from there, buddy.
So if anyone thought we were organized, we're not.
No,
sometimes we are.
Yes.
But yeah,
we're not too bad. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Anywho, Brian, this is yours, man. So take us away. What are we doing? What do we got?
We're watching Dead Poet Society. This is a 1989 film by Peter Weir, who's also directed Panic at Hanging Rock, Witness, Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World. I don't know any of those movies.
Never heard of those. Nope.
You've never? Okay, listen. Panic at Hanging Rock.
Yeah.
So it's based on a book that claims it's a true story, and it is completely fictional, or based on true events. But it's about this. It's like 1909. This school group that goes to like a picnic, and 3 students and a teacher disappear.
Oh, okay.
And it's this sort of thriller, like what happened, and the town's trying to get involved. It's a wild one. But Witness, arguably, some people credit Witness for having one of the most intricate and best screenplays written for you to learn how to write a good screenplay. Witness is a Harrison Ford movie where he's a cop and in Pennsylvania, and why can't I think of this? What is that group in Pennsylvania that the Amish? An Amish child is like with his parents in like, I think they're in this, they come into the city for some reason, but he witnesses a murder, but the kid doesn't speak. And Harrison Ford is the detective who has to try to find this. Yeah. And he ends up going to Amish country to hang out essentially. But it's a good action thriller. It's a really good one, but the script is like looked at and studied if you want to become a screenwriter. It has like really cool. The perfect ABC act. It's like perfect action beats. Like everything is like beautiful in that one. So it's definitely worth. Peter Weir is he's a very good director.
The other one on the list that is one of my like top 5 movies of all time is The Truman Show, which is very, I love that very movie. Fucking good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yes, another great Peter Weir one. He only, if you look at his thing, like especially in the last 20-30 years, he only directs a movie like once every 8 years or so. It's like 8 or 9 years. He's got something upcoming next year, I think. But he hasn't done anything since like I don't even know his last movie. It was maybe 2010 or earlier than that. But anyway,
it was
sorry,
also,
I get excited.
Yeah. Dead Poet Society was written by Tom Schulman, who also wrote movies like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and What About Bob? But Dead Poet Society was the first screenplay that he actually sold to Hollywood. It wasn't the first one he wrote. He wrote 4 screenplays prior. But Dead Poet Society was the first one that got picked up and purchased.
Nice.
That's all the facts that I have before we start making some guesses here. We do have the fact that Drew has seen this 30 years ago. So I think we'll start with Laura, but classic opener here. What do you guys know about the movie?
So I know that Robin Williams is in it.
Nice.
And he's a teacher, and it's some sort of like private school. I don't know if it's high school or college. I believe it's like an all boys school. I don't know who any of the actors are that are the high schooler / college students. I know that this is incorrect, but in my brain I just keep thinking of like Ben Affleck and all those, like that crew of guys, but I know it's not them.
You're thinking of School Ties with Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, and Brendan Fraser were in a movie together. School Ties. Yeah.
Okay, that's probably where that's coming from in my head, but I think it's very similar to that, where it's like a group of guys, and maybe it's like a coming of age type of story where Robin Williams is like trying to guide them through like this phase of their life. That's about where I'm at.
I'm with you with like, I don't know what the plot really is, but I know it's literally like Robin Williams is this extremely unorthodox and like inspirational teacher.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, like even like the school's like, that's not the way we do things here. And like, he's like,
so it's probably his like first year being a teacher there, coming in and being like all kind of crazy.
Yeah, maybe. I think he's like trying to have them realize their potential, because they're, like you said, I think it is a private school. I think you're right. I think it is an all boys. I think it's an all boys school.
Like have them come out of their shell.
Yeah, and I think, like, as you said, coming of age.
Yeah.
Yes. I think it is definitely a coming of age story, and coming of age to me it can be happy stories, but it also has some sort of powerful message of like your loss of innocence. Like, you're on the next step of your progression of becoming an adult. So I think it's like him trying to enable them to be like, you are on your next step. And the only other cast member that I really, really know is Ethan Hawke. This is his like first feature film, I think. I'm pretty sure. I remember a story where he was saying that he actually thought that Robin Williams hated him, because Robin Williams is the guy who he's going to make you laugh, right? And he's going to go, and he was trying to get everybody happy and stuff. And Ethan Hawke is like he knows he wants to be an actor. He wants to be super serious. And his character, I think, if I remember, is a very serious character. I don't remember why specifically, but like he's sort of like that kind of person. And he was trying to not break as much as he could. And Robin Williams was literally like kind of pissed that he wasn't breaking and would like tease him openly, like about him. Oh, he's not gonna laugh, huh? And like going like, and he was like, I think he kind of hated me in this movie. So I hope that's not true, honestly, because like I think Robin Williams is just like the best thing ever. But yeah, so Brian, I also don't really know, other than the story that it's this school and then there's an inspirational teacher. I don't know what the story with these kids are, and I think that's really the focus is we are going to learn about what these kids are going through and things like that.
Love it. So a lot of boys here. You don't have any other guesses for who you think's in it? Just Robin and Ethan?
Robin, Ethan. I know one other person because I put it in my question, but I didn't realize they were in it until I did the research.
Okay.
So there was a question I put in there about a connection between certain things we've seen. So
we'll see if Laura
gets it.
Probably not, but you can share after I don't get it.
Cool. Any guesses for when and where this takes place?
When did you say the movie was made? I missed that. I'm
1989.
Sorry. I think that it's not present day. I think that it's earlier. But I don't know how much earlier. Drew's giving me like a higher or lower or lower. Maybe like is 50s too early? He's like, maybe? Okay, I'm going to go in the 50s.
I'm going to turn off Drew's camera. All right, so we got 50s. And
I was going to guess that anyways. He just encouraged me that I was on the right track. So.
Where do we think this takes place? Turn around, Drew.
I thought he was talking to his kid. I think it's going to be on the East Coast. Just thinking of like schools like that, like an Ivy League type of location. Maybe around Boston, I'm thinking. It doesn't seem correct.
That would explain why Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are there.
I also agree that New England feels right.
Yeah. Maybe Connecticut somewhere. Yeah. Massachusetts, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Maybe it's New Haven. Maybe it's Yale. No.
Maybe it all takes place in an IKEA.
Yeah. In the 1950s.
Drew alluded to the connection question. What's the connection? There's an actor who makes a connection here between RoboCop and That 70s Show.
So at least someone from That 70s Show is in this movie.
Red Foreman?
Yes!
Really?
Yes! Kurtwood Smith! Yes! Amazing!
I don't know how I was like, what's an older guy on that show? There's only one.
Oh, killer. Yes, that's awesome. Super stoked.
I've never seen RoboCop, so that was...
you should see RoboCop. That is an incredible 80s action movie.
Love it.
What is the Dead Poets Society?
Oh, fuck. I mean...
Ooh. Okay. I think... Sorry, I'm jumping in front of you, Drew, but
no, please. You've
seen it, so... But I think that it's something that Robin Williams creates. Like, it's his little club that he creates. Ooh, maybe he's trying to connect with them through... I think he's an English teacher. And he's connecting with them through, like, literature. And he's created this... At first, they're like, boo, reading sucks. We don't want to do this. But then he makes it cool and fun. And then they have this, like, little club that they have together.
Yeah.
Where they start to enjoy reading stuff.
Kids who hate reading love when their cool English teacher makes a club about it.
Yeah.
That definitely makes it... That's how you connect and makes it exciting for kids.
Yeah.
But they start going through all this shit, and then they're like, oh, this is kind of what's happening in these books that we're reading, and maybe these old white men know what they're talking about, and it's still relevant.
Whoa, is this one about the Roman Empire?
That's where I'm going with that.
Cool.
It doesn't make for a great movie, but I don't know.
Drew, do you have a guess on what
I mean,
is
I
the
agree
Dead
that
Poets
it's like
Society?
I think like he provides them with maybe things that are not part of the lesson plan, maybe things that are banned or frowned upon that are actually really good. I remember like from this movie, there's two important like phrases that are said. I'm not going to say one of them, but I think like this is like one of Robin Williams' big like lines to them is like the Carpe Diem, like seize the day. Like this is like your moment. And I think he provides them with those tools, those books, and he's giving them in the Deceased Artist Club. He's giving them the discussion points and making them realize how some of these old books and old stories relate to their actual lives. or how they can use that to help with their good, bad, or ugly situations that are going on.
That's great. Who is the captain?
Laura, who do you think the captain is?
I think it's going to be the really super strict principal of the school. The one that doesn't like Robin Williams. Or maybe that's the nickname they give Robin Williams once they think he's cool.
Yeah. I think it's Tom Hanks. No, I'm just kidding. He seems to be a captain a lot. So
He does.
They're referring to him.
He's a shrimp boat captain.
Right? Shrimp boat captain, just a regular captain.
Yeah, Captain Phillips.
Captain Sully.
Sully, damn.
He's captain all over
the place.
Yes. I think it's Robin Williams though.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, I think like Laura, when they finally come around to his playfulness and eccentricities, maybe, I think that when they finally realize he's actually there to help and inspire them, I think that's when they are like, I don't think they just start saying, "Hey, Captain, what up?" But I think it's a term of endearment that happens towards the end.
Isn't there some sort of? It's either like a book or a poem or something that's like, "Oh, Captain, my Captain." I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I have no idea what that's from or what it means, but I just thought of it.
It's a Walt Whitman poem.
Oh, okay.
About the assassination of Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, did not know that.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's one of 4 poems Walt wrote about the assassination of Abe Lincoln. Walt was horny for Abe Lincoln.
Something I didn't expect to hear today.
It's just an occasional Brian thing to throw something completely random in there. So I was like,
yeah. No, he followed it up pretty.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
Sure about that?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Cool. What did the director do to have all of the younger actors create more chemistry on screen? What did he do to make sure that they had that chemistry?
I think he made them live together like they would if they were in this private school. So in a dorm setting or something. So they really had to spend all the time together.
I also feel like that's true.
I'm assuming that's one fact
it just feels
Drew
right,
gave
Laura.
Ryan.
No, I think that you were on it, and I'm going to agree. I'm not even going to make up a different thing. I think you're perfectly right on that.
I've been getting a lot right.
Maybe.
Gather ye blank while ye may. And fill in that blank. Gather ye blank while ye may.
Jinxed myself.
Gather ye or thee?
Ye.
Gather ye Lincoln.
Go swoop him up.
Swoop up that hunk.
Oh, you said swoop. I thought you said scoop, and I was like, wow, Laura's going really dark on this. She's like, pick it up.
No, I did say scoop, but not in that while he was still alive. Not no. Not scoop in the dirt. Oh Lord.
Do you have a guess there, Laura?
Can you repeat the question? I got sidetracked.
Gather ye blank while ye may.
Gather ye alcohol while ye may. Yeah, I don't know. I really got nothing on that one.
It's going to be like heart. It's going to be something like actually.
Your loved one.
Yeah.
We don't read and write poetry because it's cute. We read and write poetry because we are
men. I don't know. That just seems correct.
You had a lot of confidence in it, and I appreciate that.
I'm just thinking this movie is all
truthful. Interesting. Love that.
Because we are sticking with men.
No, stick with men. I think it's the right choice as well. I think it's a good one.
What does Neil want to be?
Oh.
And what does his dad want him to be?
I think Neil wants to own resorts in The Berkshires.
I love the New England vibes. That's great.
I think Neil wants to be a writer, and his dad wants him not to be a bitch and wants him to be a doctor.
That's good. You get my Dirty Dancing reference, Drew?
Oh, I was literally thinking about my answer when you were saying yours.
I was so proud of mine.
Sorry, Laura.
Neil wants to own resorts in the Berkshires. Or the Catskills, sorry, not the Berkshires.
See, that's why I didn't get it.
Goodness.
See? That's why I didn't get it. I was just like, yeah, whatever. Sounds
I'll never
familiar.
forgive myself.
Yeah. Poor young Neil.
What does Nolan do to Charlie to find out who else is in the Dead Poets Society?
Ooh,
What does
like
Nolan do to Charlie to find out who else is in? Oh, beats the shit out of him. I was
literally going to say the same thing. Same words. Beat the shit out of him.
Slaps this kid so goddamn hard in the face.
He gives him a swirly and he...
Oh, see, I think Nolan's an adult. I think Nolan is an adult and he's just like, who else is in this club? Like, who else is in the club? And that's what I'm going to go with. I think child abuse.
Child abuse.
Okay.
Yes.
Very cool.
Did you say cool?
He said very cool.
Very cool.
To edit that out. No.
Is there a romantic relationship portrayed in the film between the main characters?
I think there's going to be like a hint at it, but I don't know that it will ever like actually happen. But maybe there's like an underlying connotation that some of the guys like each other. They like to like each other.
I think there's an undying love and respect for each other. But
yeah, I think they're all going to become like a big group of like lifelong friends.
Yeah.
But I think there might be some feelings involved.
That could be another reason why a kid gets slapped around by an adult.
Yeah. Are there any women in this movie at all, or is it all men?
There's women.
Sounded and looked very unsure.
Positive. There's more women in this movie than there have been in other movies we've seen, because we have seen movies with no women.
That's true, or just two.
Yeah.
All right. Just curious. I don't think there's any like. Oh, maybe they sneak out and go to an all-girls school at some point. So maybe there is a romantic relationship that way too. They get in trouble.
All right. I have one more question before I open it up to you for any last guesses, but this one's kind of a two-parter. So which Shakespeare play is referenced heavily in this film? And do you have a favorite Shakespeare play?
No, I do not. I hated having to read them in high school English classes. We had to memorize a whole, like stanzas, the whole thing, and do it in front of the class, and it was traumatizing.
Yeah, wow, that's not how you do it.
It was Romeo and Juliet. It was the balcony scene that I had to do. We're out there, whatever. Yeah.
Parting with such sweet sorrow.
Totally
sucks.
What Shakespeare? Hamlet?
Ooh, that's an interesting. That's a good one. That's a good one, Laura.
I have no
Do you have a
idea
favorite? Do you have a favorite Shakespeare, or just they're all scarred for you?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Does
anyone? That's a good question.
Do you have one, Brian?
I do.
What's yours?
It is Julius Caesar.
Okay.
Okay.
Thinking about that Roman Empire.
I think no, that's a comedy. I think the one that's referenced is going to be one of his dramas. I don't think it's like a romantic one. So like, is Othello one of Shakespeare's?
It is a Shakespeare play. I have not actually read Othello.
That's the one that the movie
is
based
yeah,
on, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Mekhi Phifer. Heck yeah. Julia Stiles. Woo. Even Josh Hartnett too, right? Yeah, that's a
good
wild
movie.
beast. It's probably not that one because I think the what that one's about doesn't really fit into really what I would think like our teacher is really teaching them, but I think it's something strategic, like something important like Hamlet or even Julius Caesar, something like that. But I'll go with Hamlet.
I'm realizing I don't know as many as I
think
probably should.
My favorite is probably Much Ado About Nothing.
Oh, nice.
Only because the Kenneth Branagh film of it was cool. Fun fact about that, in that movie, Keanu Reeves plays the villain.
Oh,
that he is actually like Shakespearean trained.
That's cool.
You don't really get to see a lot of that from him now, for a long time, but
I can see it in there.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's it for my questions. You have any other guesses?
I think I guessed a lot.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm very happy with this. We had fun. There were a lot of laughs. I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out kind of what the
main plot is.
Yeah, but more so
what's
like
the point?
Yeah, what's going to be the action of the movie? Not so much action, but you know what I mean, like the conflict. But I think it is going to be Robin Williams, just like the other teachers and the school doesn't like him.
Yeah, and I think also the students are all going to be, they all have something in their life, or at least our main students
we're
are
going to
dealing
learn
with
about their past. And
I think Robin Williams is going to be the key to, through unorthodox kind of ways or different ways that are not considered standard appropriate ways of teaching in when 50s 60s, whatever it takes place.
Like there's always going to be the kid that's the super super rich kid and just thinks he can get away with anything. There's going to be the one that maybe doesn't have any money but somehow got into the school. A lot of those tropes.
Your aunt paid a lot of money for you to get here.
The really really rich kid has a building named after him that his parents donated all the money.
Please.
So,
one of the kids is a janitor and he comes in and solves a math problem.
No, this is good. I'm ready.
All right, cool. Let's find out what fools these mortals be.
Look at that old man sitting in the pew.
Oh yeah,
he's dead.
I'm pretty sure I see a string holding that old man
I
up.
was like, someone needs to check his pulse.
Oh, that's the doctor over there. Right?
That's the room where they beat us.
Yeah, like this kid doesn't know shit about shit yet.
Oh, that should have been one of my guesses of someone that's in their brother's shadow.
That's a very good
classic.
Or father's shadow too.
Yeah.
It just makes me want to be a better human being.
Yeah,
I'm like, do I have the time? Do I still have enough time to
can I seize the day?
Yeah. Can I course correct at this point?
What's a thigh man?
He enjoys the thighs. First thing he goes for.
True. What was that motion?
It was like tickling a thigh. He's going
I thought it was
squeeze.
like corn on the cob.
No,
like,
I thought it was like a crab.
They do kind of look like Death Eaters from Harry Potter. A lot of Harry Potter visuals. I'm just glad that they're not all wearing white hoods.
Yeah.
Poor guys that came and listened to the radio.
I know, when he was like, that better not be a radio.
God.
We don't allow free
It's the
thoughts.
devil.
Yeah.
I was like, he's gonna think it's cool that these kids are like building a radio from scrap parts.
Exactly, right?
Stalker much? Like, creepy.
It's 1950s, Laura. This is how you had to show people.
I guess
that
that's kind of true.
You couldn't text her. Oh, that's the guy who eats footballs?
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't kiss a sleeping girl.
Yeah.
Nope. This is not a time to DM.
That's not what that
It's not
means.
This is not a carpe.
It's not a carpe.
Don't do it.
It's not a day to be carped.
Nope. I saw the football player. Oh, he's just going to smother her with a pillow. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah, it's a real serial killer origin story
Gotcha.
we get here.
Just gonna be super creepy.
How embarrassing would that be, though? Like, you're in class.
He
and
would
some
never
dude
be my
from
boyfriend after that.
Yeah, some like douchey rich kid from a nearby all-boys school shows up and is like, I'm going to read a poem about you in front of everyone in this class.
That's what they call the ick nowadays.
Yeah. Listen, you keep talking to my girlfriend. I wrote a poem for you.
Football tastes good. And we find out at the end, though, that Cameron becomes a senator in the state of Florida.
He does look like DeSantis a little bit.
I was going to say, he's giving very DeSantis vibes.
We shouldn't even be reading books anyways.
If I had to sleep on a bed with one blanket and one pillow,
You would be so productive,
Yeah.
you wouldn't even know.
I wouldn't be able to sleep. I have 5 pillows on my bed right now.
5 pillows? Are they like throw pillows? Or are they
No.
actually like all full size?
All full size.
And you utilize all of these pillows?
I would say definitely 2 at all times. Normally 3, and then the other 2 are like on rotation. Just standbys.
I spend the
That's
first
incredible.
5 minutes just taking all the pillows off of our bed before I go
I
to
like
bed.
being surrounded by I gotta have and like blankets everywhere. Yeah.
Oh, Nuwanda gets expelled? And that kid.
This part's gonna make me cry.
This is the part that I thought would.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. All right, that was Dead Poets Society. What did you both think?
I really liked it.
Good.
Very good movie.
Yeah.
I think now that I've seen it, I've definitely seen like clips of it here and
Mhm.
there. It's probably been one of those that's like been on TV and I just watched a little bit here and there, but still didn't remember any of it. But definitely had seen parts of it before.
Yeah, only a few things came back to me, and it kind of was very fresh watching it for me. You know, for me, there's a few things in there that are almost I don't feel like, not to say don't hold up, but some cinematic choices, or how they filmed a certain part of it that kind of almost made me giggle when it shouldn't have made me giggle. Things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
No.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I was like, I'm like, okay.
Because then the immediate next shot is them like, oh God, no, my son. Like, it's
Yeah.
very like intense.
Yes,
That is
yeah.
an
and the
intense
mother,
scene.
the mother is like, he's all right, and then he's like, stop it,
Yeah.
stop it. He's like, "Grr."
Yeah,
like
that's a rough moment, but
Yeah.
precursoring that with the
They didn't need to do the slow motion at all.
exactly. Like, I know
Not
they
at
were.
all.
I'm sure back in 1989, it was just like, but like
Yeah.
nowadays, you're like, listen, I just get me there. But but with all honesty, it's phenomenal. It's a fantastic movie. And these are just little nitpicks like that make me, emotional moments that made me laugh instead of cry at that exact moment and things like that. And, someone vomiting and then getting snow shoved in their mouth, but that's not the
Yeah.
focal point. But we're like, what's happening right now?
Yeah.
But with all honesty, the movie is, it's a wonderful film. It really is, and it's
Really good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Brian
just-
was mentioning this was our first Robin Williams movie.
Yeah, I don't think
Is
we've
it our
actually
first movie that has Robin Williams? I think it's our
I
first
can't think of another
lead, but I'm not sure if Robin Williams
Yeah, I couldn't
contributed to
Think of anything.
You're probably right. Honestly, we would remember it.
I have the worst memory of the three of us, but like I don't think
someone tell us if we're wrong.
Yeah, I don't think
you don't remember
done.
when we watched Mrs. Doubtfire together?
Yeah.
No, I think you're absolutely right though. I think there may have been something where Robin Williams like did a voice in it or something, but not any sort of main character.
You know, when we did Aladdin.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He's so good.
Yeah.
It's wild.
No, he's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Should I go through some of the facts before we get to guesses?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, do we have any favorite? Like, Laura, what was your favorite part?
The ending.
Yeah.
Of course. I
Yeah.
think yeah.
Oh, Captain, My Captain is just it's iconic.
I really wasn't sure if they were going to say anything. Like Ethan Hawke's character, really, you could tell that he wanted to.
Yep.
And then I'm like, are they really just going to let him walk out? And that's how it's going to end. So, yeah, that got me with a good cry at the end for sure.
That got you?
Yeah.
SNL did a fantastic little spoof of that when Fred Armisen hosted recently in the last like 5 years.
Yeah.
It was Mr. Bunting. So if you get a chance, check out that one because it goes in a very different direction.
Davidson is in it as well.
Yes, Pete Davidson.
Boy. Okay.
But it starts off right and it goes very wrong quickly.
I'll have to watch after this.
Yeah. But
okay. What about Drew? Was that your favorite?
Yeah, same thing. Yeah. Oh, Captain, My Captain. That's the one. That's like the big scene I remember. And I knew what was going to happen to Neil. I just didn't know I didn't remember it was Neil. Like I told Brian in the beginning before you joined, Laura, the call, I was like, this happens, right? Because I don't want to guess that and then put Laura onto it. Like
I almost did while we were watching and he said he forgot to ask if we thought we were going to cry. And then I'm like, I bet somebody kills themselves because they're all kind of going through something. So
Right. And I was like, is it Ethan Hawke? Is it Neil? Or is it Knox? I'm like, all three of them seem to be in danger. So like, who's it gonna be? And as soon as Red was at the theater, I was like, no, Neil's out. Neil's out the game.
Yeah,
he
got like a whiplash moment. Almost like when his dad
Mm-hmm.
shows up at the theater.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, we agree. Those are our favorite stuff. Yeah.
What about you, Brian?
Let's hear some facts, Brian.
Oh, I was gonna see what his favorite part is.
Oh yeah, Brian. What is your favorite part?
I think the end scene is very, very good. I love the beginning scenes where people are like, really just like rip this out of my book. Like when he does he like has them lean into the pictures and he's like, Carpe Diem. Yeah, like it's him being like a goofball. Him doing Marlon Brando doing Shakespeare is all like. Those are very fun scenes. I also really liked the scene where Neil does the closing credits as Puck in Midsummer Night's Dream because like those lines are him in the only way that he can like actually expressing his feelings to his dad, which was like a really cool moment that you like think you're going to get payoff for and you just don't.
Yeah. He's literally like talking to him.
Yeah. No, that was a great writing on the screenwriter's part to like you know that they picked that play. It's like it's winter time. You wouldn't do Midsummer Night's Dream in winter anyways. So like they specifically chose it for the I couldn't find anything that said that, but there's no way they didn't choose that specifically for that like those closing
just
lines.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Some of these facts were from Drew's research earlier, but I did add some. So Robin Williams was not the first choice for the role. Some of the others, because there were other directors actually in consideration as well. But some of the folks who were eyed for this role were Mel Gibson.
Oh, no.
That would have been wild. Liam Neeson.
Oh, definitely no.
And Dustin Hoffman was actually considered to direct and star at the same time. Would have been... very different.
Maybe just because I love Robin Williams so much. Like he's just so perfect for this that you can't picture anybody else doing it.
And also this role has just become so iconic with him in it.
Yeah.
I just thought this was funny when I was doing the research, but Robert Sean Leonard, who played Neil, went on to be in a stage production of Romeo and Juliet. He played Romeo. Nice. He was also in a rom-com in '93 called Much Ado About Nothing. I don't know if that's the one that you talked about earlier.
I believe so. Yeah.
Nice. And then he also fulfilled his father's wishes and became Dr. Wilson in the TV show House.
On House, yeah.
In 2016, it was adapted for Broadway, where someone else played the role of John Keating, and that was Jason Sudeikis. which is like a good choice.
Yeah.
Like,
especially after you know him from like
Ted Lasso.
Because
Yeah.
like that's like the precursor up to it being like, if I'd heard that first, I would have been like, that's a odd choice. I guess he's funny, but like, and then seeing Ted Lasso to see his range, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That's a good one.
I would love to see that production. Like, this would be very good to see.
Definitely.
I mentioned this when we were watching it, when the boys show John Keating his old senior yearbook picture. It is in reality Robin Williams High School senior picture when he was a student at Redwood High School in California.
It looked like a photoshopped version of what they think that it would look like, but so that's shocking that it actually was. It was like they pieced together a bunch of people.
When I saw it, I was just like, so wait, Robin Williams has been 30 forever?
Yeah.
like when he graduated, he was 30?
Yeah. This one is that the movie's line "Carpe Diem, seize the day, boys, make your lives extraordinary" was voted as the number 95 on the American Film Institute's list of 100 like best film quotes or something like that. Was it best film quotes?
Yeah, it was it was like the 95 best film quotes of all time.
Yeah, I'm sure that's been used in like so many commencement speeches and like graduating classes and stuff like that, and like yearbook. What percent of Robin Williams' lines were improvised? Is about 15%. So Peter Weir called him Robin Keating on set, so he knew it was okay to be a little bit of himself and ad lib. And then upon the death of Robin Williams in 2014, the famous line "Oh Captain, my Captain" was used by many media outlets in like obituaries and stuff like that. I heard that I saw one other thing say that like he was having a hard time, like, because he was trying to play it so straight, and it took him improvising the Shakespeare lines as Brando and John Wayne, which eventually made it in, for him to be like, okay, I get it now, I know what I'm doing. And that was like what made him loosen up a little bit. The screenwriter said the story is based in part on his experience at a Bell Academy, a prep school in Nashville. A good portion of the characters were modeled on people he knew from real life. Robin Williams' character, John Keating, was based on two of Shulman's former teachers. One person who taught at the Actors and Directors Lab, and Samuel Pickering, who taught Shulman's sophomore English class. A lot of the speeches came from the former from the earlier person, but the quirky teaching style came from Pickering. In an essay, Pickering wrote that he sometimes taught class while standing on a desk or in a trash can, and one of his students remembers Pickering making him stand on a chair and flap his arms every time the class said the word "nevermore" while reading Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven.
That's awesome.
The movie itself has been referenced a ton. The standing on the desk scene is probably the most iconic thing that I could remember it in, and I just pulled up some of the shows that it had been in before. There's a Community episode where there's a teacher who makes Jeff seize the day. It's a very literal satire of it, and he gets mad when he doesn't seize the day. It's been referenced in The Simpsons. It's been referenced in every single Seth MacFarlane project. It was referenced in Orange is the New Black. It even was referenced in My Little Pony, where they stood on the desks and said, "Oh, dragon, my dragon."
Nice.
Oh my god,
that's phenomenal.
I made a joke earlier about Walt Whitman being horny for Abe Lincoln.
You weren't wrong.
And actually, and I have no evidence to say that any of this was intentional, but the movie itself very much so has a theme of tradition versus nonconformity, or self-determination, and like accepting who you are and who you want to be. And that's a big message for like Neil and for Todd, who eventually stands up for he stands up for John Keating, but that's the first time he's ever like really stood up for anything at all. Like he was a very quiet character the entire movie. But a lot of the poets specifically that get referenced are Walt Whitman is very much so believed to have been queer. Lincoln himself has actually been rumored to have been a queer president. Had 4 kids and a wife, and like that's not unheard of for people who are hiding their sexuality that long ago. But in a biography of Lincoln that was written in the 1920s, alluded to a relationship Lincoln had with a friend in Illinois. as having a streak of lavender and spots soft as May violets. Streak of lavender was typical period slang for an effeminate man, but later connotated homosexuality. Okay. Walt Whitman also wrote 4 poems about Lincoln upon his assassination. Henry David Thoreau was thought to be bisexual, which was also referenced a ton in the movie, even down to the song that John Keating was whistling, which is the 1812 Overture written by Tchaikovsky, who is very much so well known to have been queer.
I was wondering, I was like, I bet the song that he's whistling has something to do with something, but I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, given that the screen, like, there's nothing in the rest of the screenplayer's writing that makes me think that any of that is, like, directly intentional. This is the guy who wrote What About Bob and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. He's not, like, a queer icon or anything.
Yeah.
But a lot of these, and it just also happens to be that a lot of the things that you're referencing are poets and arts and free thinkers and people who are maybe a little bit more okay with accepting who they are. But the movie does have this underlying theme of tradition versus nonconformity and being able to express your feelings and, like, the terrible things that can happen when people don't accept who you are. And so, you know, Neil not being able to be accepted by his parents, you know, led to that outcome. So fuck you, Ron DeSantis.
I kind of got the feeling that, like, Neil's father didn't want him to be an actor because it probably portrayed his son in a way that, you know, didn't think was what it should be.
Yeah.
You know?
And
I kind of got that feeling. They never outrightly said it, but I got that vibe.
For sure. You definitely get that vibe. And, like, to put something that's not there, like, his dad could very well have a reason why he, like, wants more for his son than he was able to have for himself. That's, like, a realistic thing. But that's, like, generational trauma, like, to the T of, like, this is what my dad did for me, so I'm doing it to you. And not being able to express that to his son is probably exactly why his son isn't able to express those feelings back to his dad, which is why he wasn't able to come clean about this thing about who he is and how passionate he is about it. And so unfortunately, like, committing suicide was I don't think that's the right term for it anymore. Actually, I should have probably looked that up. I don't think that's the right thing to say because it sounds like a crime or like a thing that you've done wrong.
Yes, gotcha.
I'm probably gonna have to put a trigger warning at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
but I think, I think, you know, doing that is what he thought was the only way out. You know, because he didn't have the ability to communicate his feelings. So it's a heavy fucking movie.
It is,
but it was very good. It's important to me because I did have so I know that I've talked about myself being homeschooled. We did do this thing a lot called what we called co-op. So it was like a bunch of the parents would get together, and if there was a parent who specialized in a certain area, we would bring all the homeschool kids to, like, for us it was a church, but sometimes it was people's houses, and we would learn from, like, one particular parent if they were, like, good at something. One of my best friend's uncles was had, like, a master's degree in English, and he was our, like, John Keating. Like,
nice.
He was in this environment where we were very sheltered and very, you know, a religious background. He was, like, very encouraging of us to be, like, free thinkers. And even though he was a Christian himself, he definitely still, like, let us challenge those things. And we would, like, smoke cigars with him, and we watched he would, like, expose us to, like, The Godfather. We watched The Godfather with him at one point. I learned a lot of how to cook a lot from him in these, like, English classes. And then we read Shakespeare. Like, we would read Shakespeare. We all had a different character that we would play, and we would, like, pause and talk about, like, what the context behind those different things are. So, and this was definitely a movie that he liked. We read Oh Captain, My Captain in class. Like, I think he desperately wanted to be John Keating as well. So that had its own charm to it, but it was, he was a cool teacher. So
that's cool. That's cute. I love that.
Nice.
Cool. What's the next? We go through guesses, right?
Yeah, let's talk some guesses.
All right. So, what do you know about the movie? You both knew Robin Williams was in it. You knew he was a teacher. You knew there was some sort of private school, high school or college. It was a prep school, so getting them ready for college. You guessed that it was all boys, and that was correct. It was an all boys school. Affleck, Damon did not show up.
I might have been a little too young.
Yeah. Robin Williams is very unorthodox and inspirational teacher. I think that nailed him to the T. First year being a teacher, coming in and being all crazy. It was his first year as a teacher, but it was first year at that school. I wrote down all boys all the time coming out of their stuffy shell.
That was correct.
When and where? This was a boarding school in Vermont in 1959, and you didn't think it was present day. You thought it was earlier, perhaps the 50s, which you got right, thanks to some strong hints from Drew before we made him turn around.
I strongly believe that I
was
knew
going to
that.
say, I'm not going to take any credit from that. Laura had it all together.
It wasn't like he was flashing fingers at me like numbers.
Yeah. And you nailed New England. You thought maybe Boston or Connecticut, but it was in fact Vermont. But it's New England.
I don't think I would have ever picked Vermont. But...
Vermont's not one you typically think of when you think of like a college state in New England. You're usually thinking Boston or Connecticut.
I would have definitely even picked New Hampshire over Vermont. Yeah,
but they did film it in Delaware.
Yeah, they started filming in Georgia.
Yes.
But fake snow was too expensive. So they started filming in Delaware instead because snow was free, was the quote from Peter Weir.
Yep. Nice. Love that.
The connection to that 70s show in RoboCop was Kurtwood Smith, the Red Foreman. What is the Dead Poets Society? Robin Williams creates a club. He is trying to connect with them. He's an English teacher. He's trying to connect with them through literature. And he provides them with things that are not part of the lesson. He gives them discussion points relate to their actual lives. I'm blown away that you guessed this, because connecting with kids, like starting a club to connect with kids about the class that they're in, does not sound like it will work on paper.
That's what I think I even said, like, this sounds like a pretty boring movie when you say it like that. But
I know how to get through to these kids. I'm going to start a study group.
Yeah.
In a
That's
cave.
all they wanted to do, though, was study.
In a cave.
Yeah.
That would have been a good question. What do the kids do in the cave?
Yeah.
Who is the captain? Is he the strict principal of the school? Or is it the nickname that they give Robin once they think he's cool?
Yep.
Which is true. Once they kind of like connected with him, they called him captain pretty consistently. What did Peter Weir do to have all the young actors do to create on-screen chemistry? It was have them dorm together. So that way they formed those close bonds, and you really like feel it the way that they like. There's like background dialogue sometimes that happens that feels very much like, oh yeah, that's definitely like a thing you do once you have this bond. They like yawp at the play, which is like, it was just very cool. Gather ye rosebuds while ye may, not gather ye Lincoln while ye may, or gather ye alcohol while ye may.
Close enough.
And we don't read and write poetry because it's cute. We read and write poetry because we are members of the human race. Lori had guessed men, which is pretty close, I think. And you guessed truthful, which is actually not too bad either, I think.
Oh, thanks.
What does Neil want to be? Neil wants to own resorts in the Berkshires or the Catskills. Neil wants to be a writer, and his dad wants him to be a doctor. You nailed doctor. Nailed doctor. But he doesn't want to be a writer. He wants. But
you know what? He would, if he was in the Catskills, he would want to be in that end of season play that everyone puts on. So
that's true.
I don't know. Stretching it right now.
The talent show.
Yeah.
What does Nolan do to Charlie to find out who else is in the Dead Poets Society? Beats the shit out of him. Which is just pretty accurate. He gets a paddling. Is there a romantic relationship portrayed in the film? I think there's going to be a hint at it. I don't know if it'll ever actually happen. Underlying connotation. Some of the guys like each other. There's an undying love and respect for a big group of lifelong friends. Some feelings. There was this connection with this girl at the other school. There is also, in the same articles that I was reading about the sort of the queer sort of connotations with the background writers and just the overall theme of, self-determination and nonconformity versus tradition. that like Todd and Neil had like a special relationship of like unrequited, definitely like friendship, love, but also like potentially more. Todd is the one who like runs into the snow to like go look for Neil. You know, when he finds out, he's definitely the most emotionally impacted. They definitely have the strongest connection. But there's also this undying love and respect for John Keating. They all got up on their desks and felt really strongly about that. There's also some really neat underlying like visual elements at the beginning when they light the candle. They kind of illicitly say that like the light represents the knowledge that's being like passed to others.
Interesting.
And you can kind of see that like that's what John Keating is so stoked about at the end. Like he might be leaving, but he has definitely like passed this torch and this love of knowledge on to at least the students who stood up on their desks.
That's what I was going to say too. I also really liked about the end scene is that even though he's leaving, he knows that, you know, they had to do what they had to do to not be expelled, and like they really had no way out of it, but he knows that he left his impression on these kids and he did the job that he like went there to do. Like that's what he wanted to do, and he really got through to them. So yeah,
for sure. I think you did say at one point maybe they sneak out and go to an all-girls school, which is like he does sneak out and go to like a co-ed party. It was pretty
to
close.
go freaking be a stalker.
To be a real creep. But, you know, the movie proved that it pays to be a creep.
Right? She couldn't resist the creepy guy.
Those are the moments where I was like, oh man, a dude definitely wrote this.
Yeah.
If I go embarrass her and stalk her enough, eventually she'll love me.
Well, I was happy at the high school that she was so like, get away from me. I'm like, this is normal behavior. And then no, she had to come back and be like, you need to leave me alone. Okay, I'll go to the play with you.
Yeah.
And she did it like she didn't even wave him over. She was like,
that was a weird hand motion. Gimme.
I was like,
gimme.
Yeah. That's what my kid does when he wants more milk.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which Shakespeare play is referenced in this film? It was not Hamlet. It was not Much Ado About Nothing, but it was A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I named myself Lord Oberon in the movie chat. I like that one too. I actually never read Hamlet. I think we read Much Ado About Nothing. We read Julius Caesar. I read Midsummer Night's Dream. I liked Midsummer Night's Dream a lot too. That one was a lot of fun. There's a lot of jokes in that one.
Yeah.
Wild to me every time I see something that like references Shakespeare, and I'm like, how do you write a play that gets referenced freaking 500 years later?
I know.
It's so wild that it's a whole like, if you're an actor, or are you like a thespian sort of actor? Like it's still a type of actor to like be someone who can perform those, and that's like a high thing to be. Like it is a high regard.
Yeah. And how did it get decided that that's gonna be the one guy that is like, you know, I'm sure a lot of people were writing plays back then and performing plays, but he just became the most popular.
There's a strong rumor that Shakespeare is a pen name for a group of women who wouldn't have been able to publish their own plays.
I think I heard that.
So they pretended to be a man to get their plays published.
I like that.
Yeah,
we're going with that.
That's one of my favorite theories. I think also Lord Byron wanted to break out and do different stuff. So there's a strong theory that he was writing under a pen name so that way he could do something different. And it would have matched that, like, I don't know, he had like a trip to Italy at one point in his life, and it was shortly after that like Julius Caesar came out. So I don't know. It's there's a lot of weird theories.
You can go down a rabbit hole with this. Okay.
Yeah. And then some of your final guesses were that like you think there might be a super rich kid and a super poor kid. That was kind of true.
Kind of,
we didn't really get a reference to that until like the end, but for sure the different types of kids. There was like the nerdy kid, there was the troublemaker, you know. Well,
even I just want to call him Red, whatever his name was. Like, you don't know what I did to get you in here. Like, it kind of seems like, you know, he probably pulled some strings, or they don't have a lot of money and spent all their money on this. Even though their house was very nice, that office was
and he's been there. Impressive. He's been there all, like, it's not like his first year. He's been at the school for his entirety of like
yeah, that's true.
Everyone knew him.
Yeah.
It's not like he just got him in the school. He's been doing well.
Yeah.
But good
Who
point.
knows?
All right.
We're not doing that good. We had to sacrifice our 8-bedroom house.
Yeah.
The
To
neighbor
now
down
have
the
our
street has
4-bedroom
a
house.
20-bedroom house. That could have been us, but I paid for you to go to this school, boy.
Look how empty our built-in bookshelves are. We could fit more books on here.
That you're not allowed to read because they're not about doctors. Anyway.
Yeah, there's no Shakespeare in their bookshelf.
Yeah.
Your mother can't even afford 2 packs of cigarettes a day anymore.
All the women were smoking. Anytime you saw
Yeah.
a woman, she was
Every
smoking.
time.
Yeah.
That's how they had to get through their day.
Yeah.
That's how they had to.
I think that was one of the other guesses too. I might have forgot to write that one down, but there were multiple women.
Yeah.
In this.
They didn't do much, but
No, they did not.
what the hell is oh.
Let's bring that doof meter out.
Beautiful. It was anticlimactic.
I know. I'm expecting like an engine to roar.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyways.
Let's start with Drew, because Drew doesn't often get to partake in
Yeah.
Yeah.
rating.
I mean, I have seen it before.
Yeah.
So it's not like I've never seen this, but to me, even just rewatching it, it just inspires a little bit from me. Like, I think Laura, you had said in the beginning, or I think Laura said this, but you're like, I want to read some poetry or something.
Yeah.
Someone said like, I think I want to go read some poetry. There's something about this. So first off, sorry, I'm like skeeting across this. I have seen it. Should I've seen it before? I've already seen it. Seeing it again just makes me happy with it. I would say this is like a 4 for me. There's a lot. There's a couple of scenes that are definitely huge in pop culture. I get, even saying it now, I think 4.5 really is what I feel for this. There are scenes that I remember. There are scenes that I've seen in pop culture that I knew that I had seen and then saw the movie that I'd see first. Like that, I was like, that's what this is from. There's something about Robin Williams is just a literal magnetic personality that you just don't want to stop watching. And he just is inspiring. I think Brian knows this, but like, I am a huge fan of Ethan Hawke. Like I'm big fan of Ethan Hawke. Seeing people that I also recognize, Josh Charles and Kurtwood Smith. It just, the movie literally just makes me happy but also sad, and it hits that one of my favorite genres, which we've talked about, is this coming of age and this loss of innocence and becoming an adult. And this is one of the best ones that does that and really makes you understand that I am changing. Life is changing, and I'm changing as well, and I have to accept it. I cannot not change. I cannot not change. Does that make sense? Right? Cannot.
Yeah. I think you got there.
Change. Yeah. So yeah, there's several things behind it, but I would say a 4.5. It's an important film in this genre. If you looked for all of the coming of age movies, this is in there. It fits our back to school topic. It rings home for me. It's relatable, but also just devastating at the same time. Yeah, it hits a lot of notes. And like I said, there is a bit of, there's a lot of pop culture things referenced and that have been seen throughout the years.
Well,
Laura, what about you?
You're putting it away already?
No. I'm just trying to figure it out again.
It's been a while, I think, but I am going to give this a 5.
Nice.
Overall, just because it was a really, really good movie. I wish that I had seen it sooner. But how much I knew about the movie it was just like purely guesses, but they were all very spot on. So it has to be from things that I've seen in other places, or else I don't think I would have known that much. And I think it probably also was inspiring to a lot of other movies that are the same feel. Like what did you say, Drew? School Ties is very similar. Yeah. What's the one with Julia Roberts where it's like the girls in like a girls' school? Is it Mona Lisa Smile?
Mona Lisa Smile. Yeah. Yep.
So there's a lot of movies that have this same kind of plot line. Yeah, I think there's probably even way more that were probably inspired by this movie. And like you said, Robin Williams, just got any movie that Robin Williams is in, I should have seen a long time ago. And I would watch it again. So yeah, nice. It gets a 5 for me.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Good pick, everybody. You didn't fail us. You know, you did well.
Knock this one out of the park.
Yeah, great job.
All right. Brian, you still have to give a score, even though this was your movie.
Yeah, I would probably rate it a 5 too. It has like good, important, like an emotional impact for me. It also like it's funny. It's
yeah, you get all the feels through the whole movie.
You cry. It's emotional. It's inspirational. The reason why I thought the end would be especially emotional is because I'm a big sucker for any moment in a movie where there's like a group of people standing up for someone. Like I cry every time in Spider-Man when Green Goblin's being real mean and all the New Yorkers are like, hey, he's a New Yorker. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. Every time I bawl like a baby. So when they're like all getting up on their desks and stuff, it's just such a cool moment. But yeah, like
the look on his face, you're like, oh yeah, it pulls on your heart.
That and like grown men crying in any scenario was always really, really sad.
Yeah. Awesome. Good. It is good movie.
It is funny how similar rating a movie on the Doof meter is to the well, first you need to determine the importance of the movie on the y-axis. And then you need to
Oh, that's good. Nice.
All right, let's roll this away.
I figured this out.
Oh my goodness. That's very loud. You got me back for my mic coming in hot first thing when we
Excellent. And do we want to attempt, can I break my 2-time fail streak?
Let's do this.
I'm really hoping I can here, because I am embarrassed that I have done so badly the last couple times.
Yeah.
I have someone.
Okay.
You go first, Bray.
Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway. Okay.
Did I ruin yours? You have a look of like, oops.
No, but it was very close to someone that was right next to who I'm giving. But Julianne Moore is my pick.
Anne Hathaway to Julianne Moore.
Yeah.
Okay. I will hit that button right now. All right. Anne Hathaway to Julianne Moore. All right. So we hit 2 minutes. Oh, that sucked. Literally, like my thought processes for Anne Hathaway were like, okay, Anne Hathaway in like Les Mis, Anne Hathaway in what the hell was The Intern kept coming to mind for some reason. I'm like, and Robert De Niro's in that. I'm like, how I have to be able to get to.
I was trying to go through Ocean's 8 because there's a lot of people in that.
I don't even remember Ocean's anything. Anne Hathaway kind of hasn't done a lot recently, and I was like,
the one with like Sandra Bullock.
Yeah,
And then for Julianne Moore, I was thinking Crazy Stupid Love has a lot of people in it.
Yeah, I was thinking Boogie Nights and Magnolia, because like if I could get Anne Hathaway, what's that?
You're gonna be mad.
Oh, I'm sure I'll be mad.
No. I never usually look it up and wait for Brian, but
no, I want to know. Tell me, what do we got? I'm ready.
They were both in a movie called Don John in 2013.
Oh, wait, Don John?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, ScarJo, Julianne Moore, but Anne Hathaway was also in that film.
I don't remember her in that at all, but okay.
There's a lot of people in that movie. Brie Larson's in it.
Tony Danza.
Yeah. I think I own it. Maybe.
That makes sense.
Maybe. That's a rough one. All right,
Good try.
I'm not too mad. I gotta start sharpening up. 3 in a row is embarrassing for me.
Yeah, you've taken a lot of L's.
I have, and I need to get back on the winning streak. I gotta get my card game out and start testing myself again like I used to do.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that sucks, but that movie was good, so it's all okay.
Yeah. if you want to be all okay, you can head to reeldoofs.com and find out what social media channels we are. Spoilers, it's just Facebook and Instagram. I don't think we use our Twitter. We should probably just delete
Twitter's
the
not
Twitter.
even Twitter anymore.
No, yeah, X. I heard X might start charging people to use it monthly, so I think we should just deactivate it.
Yeah, let's just delete it. We don't use it anyways. Suck it, Elon.
Not paying for a check mark.
Yeah.
Or just to have it. Fuck that.
Yeah, we're not paying money for your porn site.
Can you imagine paying for
a
Twitter?
social media channel?
Yeah.
In general?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're coming up towards the end of our year, so we've been doing it's been really fun. We've been doing these voting things. It's been really cool for you to tell us what you think are so important that we should see them. And sometimes you're right and sometimes you're wrong, but it's a fun journey.
This one knocked it out of the park.
This one was very good. Good job. I'm excited to see what you pick next month. We've got a couple of holidays coming up.
They won't be picking anything next month.
We're scaring the shit out of you.
Oh, spooky season. Yeah, we've got a lot of scary movies, which is not fun for me. I don't even know what any of them are, but I know we're doing one of them outside on Friday the 13th. I hope another bird flies into my house.
Yeah.
That was on it. I don't get scared. That scared the crap out of me.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely wild.
Amazing. I'm ready. All right. Seize the day.